A special focus on NDTV at this hour, and that's road safety, something that NDTV has been committed to in the past couple of years. And just to give you some data or some statistics for your perspective, at least 47,000 people died in just 2021 for not wearing helmets. In fact, that's just one of the glaring statistics on road safety that has been highlighted by Jean Todt, the UN Secretary General's Special Envoy for Road Safety. And in fact, these are alarming figures that really are coming in now. In fact, in 2022, that number rose. In fact, in 2022, there were 462 deaths per day if you talk about road safety. And there have been several measures that have been taken by the government, particularly in the past couple of months. In fact, rare seat belt has been made compulsory also, but road safety continues to be an important concern as far as India is concerned, particularly metro cities including Bengaluru, Delhi, Mumbai, where we see many of these accidents and a rise in the number of these accidents, particularly in the past couple of years. In fact, this year, Nitin Gadkari and his ministry came up with that entire campaign centered around rare seat belt, and that really was something that got a lot of appreciation, especially when it comes to highways. Because remember, now we are talking about a nation that has 6-lane, 8-lane highways, and the speed limit ranges from 100 kilometers per hour to 120 kilometers per hour. So in such a in such a system, we need to emphasize more and more on road safety, and that has been our effort in the past couple of months. And if you can actually go full frame on that graphic and take a look at some of these numbers, because these numbers are truly alarming. If you look at 2022, there were 1.68 lakh road fatalities. These have only gone up in the past, as far as this year is concerned. In fact, in 2022, there were 462 deaths per day. That is how alarming this particular issue is. And joining us live now, very special guest, Jean Todt, the UN Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety. So thanks very much for speaking to NDTV on this very important issue. My first question to you, in a global context, how bad is India's crisis when it comes to road safety and deaths caused by road accidents?
Good afternoon, and it's my pleasure to be with you this afternoon. And it's a very important question you are raising, because every year 1.3 million people die on the roads, and about 40 to 50 million people are injured with disability. It's the number one cause of death and injuries for youth, and all that is preventable. And of course, in India, the situation, as you know, is not good. India is the most populated country in the world with over 1.4 billion people. So I'll let you imagine the consequences of the road crashes in the country.
Absolutely, and you cited some reasons there, and taking a cue from that, do you think the crisis has a lot to do with the safety standards of cars on Indian roads? For decades, more expensive cars have been safer than less expensive ones. Is there a need, or does this also point to a need to ensure basic safety standards for all cars?
Yes, definitely. You need to improve the safety standards on the cars, which incidentally is occurring on certain cars, and which is compulsory in certain countries, like in Europe, where you have a simple electronic device which are driver's help, like ESC, electronic stability control, which allows the car to be stable. On a motorbike, ABS, anti-braking system. So you have a lot of devices which will make your vehicle safer. But also, when you speak about motorbike, and you know that you have around 300 million motorbikes and two-wheelers in India. And not enough use of the helmet.
Absolutely.
So now it has been, I feel, one improvement on helmet for the drivers, but I don't see helmet for the passengers.
Absolutely.
And then it is a question of the standard of the helmet. And unfortunately, a lot of helmet standard, it can break like a glass, so it makes the users very vulnerable.
Right. We talked about safety as far as vehicles are concerned, but do you think the design of roads and poor signages are also a huge problem? How does one really go beyond decades of poor planning of road infrastructure?
So of course, road infrastructure, but we have the prescriptions. I mean, to address road safety, it's around education, and it starts at school. And incidentally, UNICEF with the education minister and with different chief minister in the states and the urban district have been working on educating better children. It's around law enforcement, and unfortunately, very often there are the laws, but if they are not enforced, it has not having laws. Level of vehicles, we just spoke. Level of road infrastructures is also very important, and the quality of post-crash care. But I mean, to give you an example, if every road users would buckle the safety belt in the front and in the rear,
right,
would wear proper standard helmets as a driver or as a passenger, respect the speed limit, don't drink alcohol or drug while driving, not being in influence, or not use your phone while driving, and even as a pedestrian, then you will save thousands of lives and injuries on the roads in India, and not only in India, all over the world.
So awareness is something that's extremely crucial.
Awareness is key.
Right. But taking cue from that, driver's education as a concept is largely non-existent in India. How much of that is part of the crisis?
I mean, I will not say only driver's education. Road users' education is essential. You need to educate pedestrians as well. Using a cross path to go from one side of the road to the other one. When you are in a dark environment, be very cautious, because then you can be an obstacle for the cars or for the motorbikes or for the bicycle. So each road user has its own responsibility.
Absolutely. And on the larger issue of teaching and training existing drivers, how does one actually teach generations of drivers about basic rules and regulations, which in a sense they've never been really followed? I mean,
yeah, and that is why access to driving license is important. I mean, driving is a responsibility. So before you are allowed to drive, you should learn how to drive, how to behave, and go through a very scrupulous examination to get your driving license. And it should be the same for the two-wheelers.
Absolutely.
So that is, again, what we call learning, education.
Right. So thanks very much for joining us with that very important perspective there. And as you said, driving is a responsibility, and it's a shared responsibility, something that requires awareness as far as drivers are concerned, road users are concerned, because these numbers are really alarming. It's a big concern, accidents on the roads, and we see absolutely horrific ones in the past year or two particularly, and now this initiative has been taken by the UN, and also our government also working a great deal as far as road safety